Hello, welcome back to Sustainability Channel. I'm Tom Montague from DeFi ESG. So one of the most impactful sustainability ESG documents that I've used is the annual ESG goals and objectives. And this document has been very impactful because it just keeps the overall ESG process and other departments that contribute and help improve the process on track, and it gives them guidance of what they should be working on for this year. So what we'll be discussing today is how do you put together that document? How do you make it useful? How do you streamline that process? Stay tuned. So if you enjoyed today's video, if you learned something from today's video, please tap the like and subscribe button below. It's a big help to me with the YouTube ratings. If there's a video you'd like me to make on any particular topic in the realm of sustainability or ESG, please leave a comment below or send me an email. I'd be more than happy to make that video. If you have a sustainability or ESG deliverable you'd like me to socialize on this channel, please send me an email. I'd love to do a video on that. So jumping into annual ESG goals and objectives. So I would really keep this a very streamlined project. I would produce this annual goals and objectives on a Microsoft Word document. I'd put it in memo, bulleted format, and make sure it's on a piece of company stationery, just making it look official. Of course, you want to have the year that this pertains to. And I would really start putting this document together in October. I found that putting it together in November, December, or even the year that the document pertains to, it's just too late. And you're just starting it too late, and you should really start planning your objectives the upcoming year in October. Just giving yourself enough time to finalize it, get management approval, and get the proper buy-in from all the other departments that can participate in achieving those goals and objectives for the year. With the actual memo you're going to put together that's going to cover your annual ESG goals and objectives, I would put that in 4 different sections. The first section would be sustainability, and I would address the overall score you got last year for your ESG assessment. If it's a great score, 90 or above, I've talked about that. You're going to continue to socialize this great score with other stakeholders, employees, customers, investors, maybe help some other companies improve their overall ESG scores. I've talked about general stakeholder engagement and communication you're going to do for the year, and other general sustainability improvements. Let's say it's your second year of doing a formal ESG assessment, and the first year you didn't do a formal sustainability report. I would have that under the sustainability goals and targets for the year, that you're going to put together a formal sustainability report. So this is where you put the more general sustainability goals, targets, and objectives for the year. And that's where I would start. The second section I would put together is environmental. And in the environmental section, I'd really address targets, initiatives with greenhouse gas emissions, energy, water, habitat, recycling, waste reduction, noise, light pollution. I would address anything where you're going to do improvements, anything you didn't score well for the year before. If there's something new you're doing, if there's something different you're doing, I would cover any and all those applicable items in a bullet of exactly how you're addressing either that miss in the prior year, that gap, or something new. And if it's something very impactful, let's say we were generating high amounts of trash in our industry, and there's something you've done very well as a corporation. I would address waste and how you've reduced and you're continuing to reduce waste going to the municipal trash stream. So it doesn't have to be something new initiative. It could just be something you want to highlight in your goals and objectives that you can continue to do well, and that's fine. This is really up to you, what you put in here, and it's what's important to your stakeholders and the overall success for the company. For social, I would most certainly address safety. I talk about how you did the year before and what you're working on for that upcoming year. And let's say you blew it out of the water with safety. You didn't have any contractor injuries, you didn't have any guest injuries, no injuries in your community. I would talk about, and let's say your recordable rate and injuries for your employees is very low. I would talk about how you're going to sustain that. And I would lay out, how you're working to reduce injuries with the trends that produce the injuries for that prior year. I'd also talk about diversity and what the HR initiatives are and how you're going to achieve those goals and targets with diversity, inclusion, hiring locally. If there's any initiatives for developing your workforce, I'd most certainly talk about that under social. Community relations. I would talk about how you're engaging your local community and you're having transparency and open conversations with them if that is something you are doing. And again, we just don't want to put things down here for the sake of putting things down to take up space. You really want to just address how you're improving your social programs, how you're addressing gaps from the prior year, how you're improving things, moving the football down the field within that social arena. Governance. So quite commonly, I would have my general counsel, our compliance officer, other members of the legal team, as well as the head of IT. And we talk about, how we did on our ESG score within those areas for the prior year, gaps we wanted to fill in, things we wanted to do better on, or things we've done well with and we're going to sustain for those upcoming year. That's how I'd put together my governance bullets right there. A lot of companies don't include anything on IT security, and I really think that's an oversight. I would most certainly put together something on IT security. Either you're going to continue to do what you're doing, or you're going to do more testing or put in more controls. But that is something that investors really want to see, and that is a evolving issue within the governance arena that you should be addressed in your annual goals and objectives. So these annual goals and objectives should not be put together by the company sustainability manager or company EH&S leader. These should be put together by subject matter experts on those three subjects of general sustainability, environmental, social, and governance. General sustainability, quite often that's your sustainability manager or your VP of EH&S that oversees sustainability. Environmental, that would be your environmental manager, getting input from the great folks in operations, from the equipment department and the maintenance department, and really what are the initiatives? What are we doing for the upcoming year to reduce our waste and make sure we don't have water pollution and reduce our greenhouse gases? Social, that is heavily, the contributors for that would be, labor relations, HR, safety. Those are the big departments and operations where I would get input and put together these objectives and what you suggest for the upcoming year. And again, governance, that would be your compliance department, maybe some input from the board of directors, general counsel, legal department, as well as the leaders from IT. And I would take this draft document, and there's got to be some vetting by your sustainability manager of what is too granular and what is more of an impactful objective to include for the annual ESG goals and objectives. And with these goals and objectives, they have to be something that you can accomplish. It can't be a moonshot style goal. It's got to be something we can knock out for this upcoming year. And once this is put together in a draft format, it's got to go in front of your senior leadership team. And again, I recommend that happening in November, early December of the year prior to where these will take place. Because you try to do it in the last 2 weeks of December, it's not going to happen. There's just too much going on with Christmas parties and folks on vacation. So that's when I would try to do it. Have the first week in December the latest, or more times than not, try to knock this out in November. Get buy-in, get approval, get thumbs up from that senior leadership team. So the first of the year for that upcoming year, you can start executing it, and all these other functional departments that contribute to improving the sustainability ESG process, they're on board, they know what their objectives are, and they're moving to achieving it. Within a lot of these ESG assessments, it's a requirement that you post your annual ESG goals and objectives on your webpage, and it should be included in your annual sustainability report. So again, that is a very concise summary of how to put together and use your annual ESG goals and objectives. And again, what I really like about the annual ESG goals and objectives, it really keeps the company aligned, moving forward, prioritizing what we have to do with ESG and sustainability for the year, and it holds other functional departments accountable for moving that football down the field. And that's what I really like about the annual goals and objectives. Again, if you enjoyed today's video, if you learned something from today's video, please tap the subscribe and like button below. If you have a request for an upcoming video, send me an email. Put a comment in the comments section below. Thank you very much for your time today, and have a good rest of your day.